Good afternoon, everybody. Before I begin this special City Council meeting, I'd like to remind members of the audience that anyone wishing to speak during public comment must obtain a number card from the city clerk. And if you didn't receive a number and wish to speak, please proceed to the back of the room. I would like to call to order this special City Council meeting at 5:18. City Clerk Duarte, would you please take roll?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Horn,
Present.
Councilmember Sosa,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo is excused, Mayor Frometa.
Present. Okay, now is the time for public comment, and I remind speakers that the public comment period is reserved for comments about this special meeting. There's an opportunity later in the meeting for general public comment, and each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the council regarding this special meeting. City Clerk Duarte, did we receive any written public comment regarding this item?
We did not, Mayor.
Okay, we will go ahead with
We have one speaker.
speaker.
Oh, may I start now?
Yes, you may start.
Okay, Bain Act 52.1, restitution, court order victims, know your rights. And in the issue of claim, Raul Salazar versus the city of Downey on a workers' compensation claim, for the record, 19
No, you have the wrong item. That is for closed session for the 5:30 meeting. Right now, we have a special meeting for closed session.
Yeah, I'm reading right here. Public comment, special meeting agenda, government section of the Brown Act. Conference with legal counsels, anticipated litigation. A point has been reached where the opinion of the fucking city council on the advice of fucking legal counsel, there is a significant exposure to litigation against the city. And we all know why. We become fucking terrorists over flags, over what we say, Cohen versus California, Brandenburg versus Ohio, and so forth. And so the term nigger refers to me, a dirty nigger. And I'm talking about the facts and circumstances, including but not limited to an accident, an incident, a disaster. Matter of fact, I'm talking about what happened to Mike Greenfield in West Covina, for the record. If you go watch the flag salute, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about and how that is interpreted. But the issue here, again, going to the potential one case, and there's not too much of a history here of what the case is all about, because in fucking 3 minutes, I'm down to a minute and a half. So the result in the litigation against the agency and that are known to a potential plaintiff or plaintiffs. This might be the case of Barragon versus the mayor of Downey for her assault at that Ralph's incident or issue. And I find that very insulting that grown adults who are fighting for a portion of real estate in Downey to be the mayor or a councilman have to go threaten and touch someone at a Ralph for simply passing out a fucking flyer.
Please stay on topic.
I'm giving a scenario, Mayor. I have that right. It's part of my First Amendment. Matter of fact,
Stay on topic, please.
I am talking about section of the Brown Act 54956.9 D for Dick, number 2, under code section 54956.9 E, because I'm elegant at the way I express myself. So again, exposure to litigation against the city of Downey. We want to know after your closed session what you plan to do, because if any case in any manner, you should pay this person or persons off immediately. Go into mediation, resolve this, stop fucking wasting the court's time, stop fucking with the judge from Long Beach, Miss Jennifer H. Cobbs, because she told you. There's nothing wrong with Armando Herman saying 42 U.S.C. 1983 politely.
Thank you. We will now recess to closed session. The time is 5:23. Okay, is everybody ready? Okay, thank you. Ms. Interim City Attorney, would you please report the closed session action on this special meeting?
Thank you, Mayor. There's no reportable action this evening.
Thank you. The special city council meeting is now adjourned at 5:37. I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting closed session at 5:37. City Clerk Duarte, would you please take roll?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Horn,
Present.
Councilmember Sosa,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo,
Present.
and Mayor Frometa.
Present. Now is the time for public comment, and I remind speakers that the public comment period is reserved for comments about the items listed under the closed session agenda. There will be an opportunity later in the meeting for general public comment. And since this is a business meeting and we have business to attend in the next hour, each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the council regarding the closed session items. I will also like to remind members of the public that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, and interferes with orderly conduct of the meeting. Speakers who violate these rules and cause a disruption will receive one warning and then may be removed from the meeting. Violations of the rules of decorum for council meetings may also result in an administrative fine under the municipal code or citation for a misdemeanor under Penal Code Section 403. City Clerk, did we receive any written correspondence regarding closed session items?
We did not, Mayor.
Okay. If we have individuals here to speak, I will call speaker number 1.
So on
And
the
I will
record,
remind you about the rules of decorum, please.
may I get
Based
my-
on our
when I get my
Penal
time
Code
back,
Section
please?
403. Yes, you may get the second
Well,
back.
I'm going to cite Cohen versus California on the record of 403 U.S. 15, 1971, because I couldn't find any language that was offensive based on liability claim of Raul Salazar versus the city of Downey. I'm pretty sure he may have said, fuck this, but that's not offensive. That's protected speech. I'm pretty sure he could have made a comment about his compensation, that he wasn't being compensated appropriately, and he said, fuck this. But there's nothing that prevents me or shall censor me or try to master my ability to speak under this Cohen versus California. Fuck the draft. Because actually, I think Raul Salazar versus City of Downey under Section Code 54956.95 liability of this Brown Act needs to be tuned or tweaked a little better than from what the rules are of the decorum, because they're very vague. And that's why I find the mayor's vagueness a constitutional denial of my privilege, my right not to be deprived to speak on behalf of Raul Salazar. And Mr. Raul Salazar should get a hold of me, because I got a badass fucking workers' comp attorney that can make shit happen. And he don't fuck around. And I say that on record because I beat LAUSD 2 times without an attorney. No, with a workers' comp attorney. And it shows you that there is intelligence. There is a meaning to what constructive litigation should be like. That's why I can still work for LAUSD, although I fucked them twice. The same way Raul Salazar should fuck the city of Downey, workers' compensation claim number, and this is the court number, 19140491 WC8 bitch B NO ADJ 120-18821 versus the agency known as the city of Downey. So I just want people to be aware that if you want to sue a local entity, you have that right. If you want to proceed with the DA and the Public Inquiry Unit from Sacramento DOJ, you have a right, because you have a right to your job. And no fucking working compensation for a measly $40,000, $50,000 ever since that governor asshole, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, decided to lower what you can find in your piggy bank. Thank you for the record.
Thank you for that. Now we need to approve the closed session minutes. Is there a motion and a second to approve the closed session meeting minutes of the special meeting of February 3rd and February 14th, 2023, and the regular meeting of February 28th, 2023?
So moved.
Second? Actually, I need to close public comment first. I will make a motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Okay, and moving on to approving the closed session minutes, I make that motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Please vote.
The motion is approved unanimously.
Thank you. Now, moving on to our closed session, the City Council will now recess to closed session under the following authorities. Number one, public employment discussion recruitment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, title City Attorney. And number two, Government Code Section 54956.95, liability claim, Raul Salazar versus the City of Downey, workers' compensation claim number 19-140491, WCAB number ADJ1201881, agency claimed against City of Downey. Interim City Attorney, you have an announcement regarding item number one.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will not be participating in item 1 due to a potential conflict of interest, so I'll be recusing myself from that item.
Thank you. We will now recess to closed session. The time is 5:44.
Roger, can you just, item number one, just so no reportable action?
Are we ready? Okay, good evening, everybody. Ms. Interim City Attorney, will you please report the closed session action?
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. As to item number 2, there is no reportable action. And I will ask our city manager to report on item number 1.
And for item number 1, there is also no reportable action. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we begin the regular city council meeting open session, I'd like to remind members of the audience that anyone wishing to speak during a public comment period must obtain a number card from the back of the room. And we will no longer have individuals lining up along the middle of the council chambers. And the time clock will begin when you begin your comments. If you didn't receive a number card and wish to speak, please go to the back of the room and obtain a number. I would like to remind members of the audience that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of this meeting. Speakers who violate these rules and cause a disruption will receive one warning, and then they will be removed from the meeting. Violations of the rules of decorum for council meetings may also result in an administrative fine under the municipal code or citation for a misdemeanor under Penal Code Section 403. We have a full agenda, and we have members of our city as well as families, and I will remind speakers to remember the rules of decorum. Pursuant to the Downey Municipal Code, speakers will be given 1 3-minute speaking time for agenda, consent, and non-agenda items, unless notified by the mayor. Members of the audience who submitted written public comment for the meeting and wish to speak during the public comment period will be allowed to speak if they wish. Copies of the city's meeting rules are located in the back of the room. I will now call to order the regular city council meeting open session. The time is 6:32. City Clerk, would you please take roll?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Horn,
Present.
Councilmember Sosa,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo,
Present.
And Mayor Frometa.
Present. At this time, I would like to call on Pastor Charlie Rivera from New Season Downey Church to lead us in the invocation. Please stand.
Madam Mayor and all the members of the City Council, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be able to lead and open this session in prayer. And if you would join me in prayer, I would greatly appreciate that. Heavenly Father, we come before you thanking you for who you are. You are the sovereign, awesome, and mighty God. And we thank you that you help us, Father, to be able to do what you have ordained and called each and every one of us to do. Today we come before you asking of your guidance, of your wisdom, your support. As this meeting is beginning, we ask that you would just be here present. We ask of your divine presence to be here. We ask, Father, that you would just grace us with your wonderful spirit that you have shown upon our lives and upon this great city of Downey. We thank you, Father, for all the elected officials that are here. We thank you for all the businesses here in this city, all the families, all the individuals that make up this great city. We thank you, Father, that you are here in our midst, and we are praying that you will just continue to do so. I pray that today, as we are meeting here, I pray that it would be a discussion that will be productive, to be able to see, Father, you come and unite and bring unity, Father, to the community. I pray that today's meeting would be one that would be, Father, effective, productive, not only for now, but for the future as well, for every citizen of this wonderful city. I pray for our leaders that lead this city, Father, that they're able to discuss and tackle the important things and that are on the agenda that need to be done and need to be addressed. I pray that it would be done with your grace and your wisdom. We also pray that you would give the city leaders, officials, the wisdom to be able to do every decision based upon your guidance and your wisdom, Father. I pray, Father, that you would just help us tonight, Father, as things are being done and discussed for the betterment of this city, this wonderful city that we are able to live in. And I thank you, Father, because we are trusting in you and believing that your hand will be upon this time, upon every single person, individual, Father, that will be speaking even today. Father, let your hand be upon them. Father, we ask that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, Father. We ask it all in the precious, mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Charlie. I would like Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo to please lead us in the flag salute.
Absolutely. Everyone would please put their hand over their heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. It is so wonderful to see a room full of committed residents and people that care about this city. Thank you for joining us this evening. I would like to recognize the presence of my dear friend and former mayor, my favorite mayor, Mayor Rick Rodriguez, because once the mayor, always the mayor. I would also like to recognize the executive director of the Downey Chamber of Commerce, Michael Calvert. Thank you for joining us tonight. Also, a commissioner who is always attentive to the needs of the community and one that serves in various commissions, Commissioner Jeannie Wood. Also, we have in the audience a dear friend and also president of the Downey Chamber of Commerce, Carmen Padilla, with her husband. Thank you for joining us. and it is later scheduled for presentations, and that I am so pleased and overjoyed to see our youth commission commissioners representing the various districts. Thank you for joining us tonight. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my husband, who just walked in. Welcome, Navarez. And I do want to recognize how joyful we feel here in this council chambers and at this dais to officially welcome our city manager, our new city manager, Roger Bradley. Thank you. Great things are coming to our city, and I'm just very much looking forward to the days and the months ahead. I would like to, at this time, turn it over to City Council member announcements, requests for future agenda items, conference and meeting reports. I will start off to my far right, Councilmember Hector Sosa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. These past 2 weeks, I got had the privilege of participating in a few events. We had the annual Read Across America. This is my second time participating in this event. I was able to read to a class full of some cool first graders at Alameda Elementary. That was a lot of fun, and they really enjoyed the story. So it was just a cool event to be a part of. I attended the Gangs Out of Downey monthly meeting. They meet once a month. As you may know, I'm former or immediate past president of that group. They're doing some great things, doing a lot of proactive work with our youth to sponsor them into positive activities and keep them out of trouble. Also, I did attend the night market ribbon cutting. The night market is an awesome event. They do it on the second and fourth Thursday of the month. So if you have a chance to check that out, a lot of vendors, great community event that takes place on Downey Avenue. Also this past weekend, I got to attend the Veterans Peer Access Network, the VPAN Veterans Breakfast, which was a great event. Been working with VPAN and a couple of other organizations, CalVet, and Rick Rodriguez was a part of that as well. I think that's an important event. They talked about initially doing one a year from now, and I just throw it out there. Why not do one 6 months from now? Let's recognize our veterans. And speaking of that, we do recognize the dignitaries that are here, which is great. But I'd like to take a moment, just come fresh off this breakfast event for our veterans, to recognize our veterans tonight. Given our new city manager is a former Marine, Roger Bradley. I see Brian Heyman in the crowd as well. My new friend Mo that I just met. We also have Vietnam veteran Lee Squire in the crowd. And if I missed anybody else, please forgive me. But please join me in taking a moment to recognize our veterans that are here today. Please. That concludes my comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Sosa. To my far left, Councilmember Timothy Horn.
I also was at the VA breakfast and met a lot of new friends, consolidated a lot of relationships. Being from a family that is full of veterans on my mother's side, going back to the Phillips War, I was very appreciative of any veteran and what they do for services. Excuse me. One issue that did come up, and I think we should consider, would be to recognize our veterans on Veterans Day as well. We did separate this event, this breakfast, from our official Veterans Administration meeting that we did have at the Space Center back in November, and we need to include, maybe put them together instead of separating them. And I got a big week ahead, As you know, I will be speaking at Chamber of Commerce meeting tomorrow. I will be meeting with the Lakewood Chamber of Commerce, as well as visiting the H2 House and taking a tour with the contract city leaders, as well as attending the Gangs Out of Downey breakfast or luncheon on Thursday. And I got a lot to prepare for. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Horn. Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, it's a special month. As you know, it's Women's History Month. So I want to recognize that and recognition to our Madam Mayor. It's always good to be led by a strong woman committed to the city. So congratulations on Women's History Month. Please recognize the important women in your life. We had an opportunity with the mayor and council colleague Sosa to host a delegation from Michoacan. Apparently, there's a lot of Michoacanos in Downey. I didn't know that, but it was good to welcome them and learn more about that state. We look forward to working them on how to just provide services, maybe like a mobile consular for many of us who've thought about like dual citizenship with Mexico. Maybe we could facilitate something like that in the future. I attended League of California Cities membership meeting. Special shout out to Diosa Restaurant, the old hometown buffet. Absolutely beautiful. Chandeliers, just very fancy restaurant. It is expensive. It is pricey, but for that special occasion, date night with that special other or whatnot, please check out Diosa Restaurant. Let's support local restaurants and businesses opening up in Downey. I had an opportunity to attend the Downey Association of Realtors Lunch and Learn. I am a member of that Realtor Association. Had a presentation on Hydrant Guard. It's a product that's being used for hydrants that sometimes are hit in accidents and then all the water disperses and we lose that water. So it's a water saving product that's being used by some cities. Public Works is going to consider that. Want to recognize former Mayor Rick Rodriguez, who's in the audience, along with Kathy Perez. They very generously agreed to help the city and lead the Carpenters' 55th celebration coming up in 2024. We're getting ahead of it. And special shout out to Mayor Rodriguez. He's done this before. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, so thank you for giving up your time, and it's good to see you, sir. I know that you had a health scare, but you're always there, and Downey is very lucky to have you. Thank you. Rancho Los Amigos had their annual artist show, amazing pieces of art by the Rancho patients. Because of that, I was a little late to the Downey Night Market ribbon cutting, but I hear that went off well. That Downey Night Market is a great opportunity for Downey residents and our families to go to the downtown Downey. It's there every other Thursday. So the second and fourth Thursdays of the month, that's when you should go to the night market and support it. It's for you to benefit Downey. So we hope you'll take advantage of the Downey Night Market. Congratulations to the Downtown Business Association on putting that event together, like I said, second and fourth Thursdays of the month. And one agenda item, I was contacted by the Downey Symphonic Society. As you know, one of the feathers in our hat here in Downey is we have our own Downey Symphony. Well, attendance has been very low. In the last performances, that's a revenue creating vehicle for them. And as a result of low attendance, I understand that they possibly may not be able to put on the Pops concert in the park this summer. They have an ask. It's a financial ask. So I would like staff to reach out to the Downey Symphony and find out what exactly is going on, what is their ask, and to bring it back as an agenda item to see if there's anything the city council wants to do or could do to assist them. That is an annual event. It's been a tradition in Downey for over 30 years, the Pops concert in the park. And I'm just afraid that we're going to lose some of our history and culture that makes us who we are. Downey, if we're not able to have that event. Something for us to consider and bring back, please. This Saturday, please support TLC. They have a 5K going on, and we have our annual street fair. So hope to see many of you in the city on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo. And once again, good evening, everybody. I want to also welcome those individuals that are watching us via YouTube. Thank you. I always say engaged communities are strong communities. And I want to tell you, we launched Mayor Frometa's 90-second roundup via our social media platforms a couple of weeks ago. In fact, I just recorded this week's update earlier today. Please look for these bi-weekly videos. They will be all over our social media platforms. And we will also have a channel under Mayor Frometa on the website where you can view those. I think it's important for individuals in our community to know what is happening. And there's so many methods of finding the calendar of events. But several times over the last several weeks, members of our community have come up and said, Mayor, where can we find exactly what the city is doing? And again, that is one of the reasons that I wanted to do this Mayor Frometa's 90-second roundup, where I can tell you about important things going on in our city, upcoming events, and really just an opportunity to touch base with all of you. I also want to recognize, and thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo, March we observe as Women's History Month, and undoubtedly women have made an impact in all of our lives. And I want to recognize especially our first woman police chief in the city of Downey. And Chief Murray, thank you for your service. As we continue, it is vital that our young men and women continue to see the impact that females are having in our communities, in our society. And I just want to, again, recognize, and for the month of March, you will see that part of the Mayor's Legacy Awards will be awarded especially to women and women in our community that are making a difference. I would like to, again, I'm not going to spend too much time reiterating some of the events that we attended. I attended the Nighttime Downey Market, and once again, that is such a fabulous event, a great opportunity for the family to come out and really support small businesses. There were about 100 vendors, and we are excited to finally have this in downtown Downey on weeknights, Thursday nights on the second and fourth Thursday. And as the temperature changes and the days get a little longer, just a wonderful time to come and experience community and bring your families to support those vendors. Upcoming events, those have also been mentioned. I will be at the TLC 5K early Saturday morning at 7:30, and then we have Step Into Spring, our Downey Street Fair, and that takes place right here along Brookshire Avenue, actually right here between Firestone and 5th. And I know our Chamber of Commerce really works hard to make this a successful event. Also, we have our Keep Downey Beautiful cleanup, and I know there are 3 events going on almost simultaneously. Well, not necessarily simultaneously. The TLC will be done by 9:30, so you can put in your 5K and then come over to the Downey Street Fair about 10 a.m. But if you are not a runner and you can make your time at the Downey Street Fair a little later, I invite you to be part of the Downey, Keep Downey Beautiful cleanup crew. This happens on a monthly basis, and this time they are meeting behind the Onstage Dance Center, the back parking lot along Woodruff Avenue. And I know this event is a little further down the road, and you will hear me say it again and again, but we have a great opportunity as a community, youth, everybody, nonprofit organizations, churches, to come together and make a difference in our city. The Downey One Day of Service is scheduled for Saturday, April 22nd, and that also coincides with Earth Day. And we want to be thoughtful, and we want to continue to do something that leaves a mark, and that is helping Mother Earth. And so helping clean up our community and be part of various projects is really important. That event is only 3 hours. Join me at 9 a.m. On Saturday, April 22nd, right here outside the Civic Center. And for staff, I do have a few items. I realize tonight there is an item on the agenda pertaining to Fire Station 4. And I want to reiterate, and I know you know this, but I want to say it on the record because I have received numerous calls from residents that are angry. They are angry at us. They are frustrated. And I have to tell you, I share that frustration because I live down the street from Fire Station 4. And it has been 13 months, a year and 1 month since that fire broke out at that fire station. We understand there's been delays on various things, but we can no longer continue to have a fire station that is shut down. And I realize once again, and for the public, we are voting on an item tonight to be able to repair the roof of Fire Station 4. But I do want to ask staff to do everything we can to expedite those repairs and make every effort to reopen the fire station. It has been too long, and we can no longer continue to wait to see what happens with that fire station. Also, item number 2, businesses all over town. As I drive throughout our beautiful Downey, I am seeing those flashing lights come back. And they are all over the windows. And that actually is out of compliance with our city code. We do not allow those flashing lights around businesses. And again, we understand they want to attract attention and they want to drum up business, but we need to ensure that we continue educating and reminding our business and business owners that those flashing lights around their windows are out of compliance with our city code. Also, on that same note, I am continuing to see a lot of homes throughout our city with Christmas lights and decorations. I've seen massive skeletons outside some homes, and I have to tell you, we've got to remind our residents, we do have a code for seasonal decor. If I'm not mistaken, it's seasonal decorations need to come down after 30 days after that major holiday. Christmas, of course, is a bit of an exception, but we are about to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and we still have Christmas lights out, and that is not acceptable. Also, if we can please, I would like code enforcement to continue to be proactive. Again, we see sometimes vehicles parked on lawns, and we do see we see some shopping centers within our city, particularly on the south part of the city, that their area is not really kept. And there is extensive trash and debris. And I think it is important for those owners of those shopping centers to be proactive with their tenants about the condition of those areas. Last but not least, I would like to receive an update from staff regarding where we are with that empty lot on Studebaker and Florence. We realize that is an area that Honda is going to develop. Again, it's been probably close to a year, and we need to find out what plans they have. I think we have to continue to be proactive, and I know we are, but we need to continue to push on potential developments on empty, vacant lots. We can no longer continue to see them vacant. And then the last item for me is our Veterans Council. I think one of my council colleagues several weeks ago had inquired about it, and I think as we, again, post-COVID, everything is back in person, and we are moving forward. I think I would like, and if my councils agree, to revitalize, bring back that Veterans Council. The veteran community in Downey is really, really important. And again, so much so, we have the Center for Military Reintegration here, and it's a regional program, and we have it here at the city library 3 times a week. So I want us to see, come back, please, with suggestions in direction for us. I think that that council went dormant some time ago, and we need to be able to bring it back and continue to focus our efforts in helping our veterans and their families reintegrate or make the transition back to civilian life. There are so many resources out there, and unfortunately, those resources are not known. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday, March 23rd, a week from this Thursday. I look forward to seeing you at Coffee with Me. The Coffee with the Mayor is going to be held at the Columbia Memorial Space Center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I look forward to engaging with you. I may not have all the answers, but I promise you we will find answers together. With that said, I would like to turn it over to our new city manager, Roger Bradley, for his city manager comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to start off by saying thank you, Council. I'm very excited to be here, be a part of this great community, be a part of this organization. I look forward to a long and bright future here with the community and the organization. Wanted to recap a couple of items, future agenda items. So the Downtown Symphonic Society Pops concert in the park. Was there a second on that item? So bring it back.
I'll do a second.
Perfect. Thank you. And then the update on the lot at Studebaker in Florence. Is that a future agenda item? I think you had a request too. Mayor?
Yes.
Is there a second on that item?
Second.
Thank you. And then finally, the third item was the Veterans Council revitalization suggestion and options. Was there a
I'll second that.
on that? Perfect. Thank you very much. And then, Mayor, I got your other items here. You're looking for staff to continue to work on the expedition of the project for the Fire Station 4. We'll continue to push that forward and make it a priority. Thank you very much. Then we have a couple of code enforcement items. I'll work with staff on the flashing lights around the businesses, the seasonal decorations, as well as the vehicles and the park on the lawns and landscaping. So thank you. Have it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, City Manager Bradley. And at this time, it is time for presentation. So I'm going to go downstairs and see everybody. We've got some great presentations to present. Thank you once again. It is March, and I know that we're not meeting on St. Patrick's Day, but for those of you of Irish heritage, I'm wearing green in your honor. And also, I want to once again recognize Women's History Month. Women play a vital role in our world, in our communities. And women, you are amazing. I want to recognize whether you have chosen to stay home and raise a family, or you have chosen to pursue a professional degree. Women in this society really impact the world. To me, the most, I want to recognize mothers and those individuals that stay home, that decide to stay home to raise children. That is an invaluable sacrifice, and you are raising the next generation of leaders in our community. So thank you. Again, I will say this again at the next council meeting. March is Women's History Month, and I want to recognize women's contributions to our society. And but here I am going to be presenting. We have City Clerk Duarte. Would you please help me to for the administration of oath of office of our incoming city manager, Roger Bradley?
Then if you can raise your right hand. And then repeat after me. I, Roger Bradley,
I, Roger Bradley,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and
That I-
allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties upon
which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I would like to present, and I will do it one by one, Dorothy Pemberton. I am pleased to award you the Mayor's Legacy Award. And if Dorothy can please come up. I will say a few words about her. I know she's a little shy in that sense. Dorothy Pemberton is a longtime resident of the city of Downey and a product of our Downey Unified School District. She remembers when the strawberry fields and farmhouse were burned down to develop Stock's Restaurant and the archery lanes off of Imperial and Bellflower Boulevard. Her Lithuanian mother and Romanian father immigrated to the United States from Germany. Her parents did not volunteer in local organizations because they felt inferior to the well-spoken natives. So she decided to take a more active role and has been an avid volunteer since the 1980s. Yes, that's right. And she has participated and has been a part of many organizations over the years. Assistance League of Downey, committee member for Measure O, that was the school bond measure, Downey Ponytail Girls Softball, the Downey YMCA Board, Gangs Out of Downey, the Habitat for Humanity Board, PTA for multiple schools, PTA Helps Food Pantry, the city's Park and Recreation Commission, the San Antonio Guild of Children's Hospital, Soroptimist of Downey, also a tutor for the Downey Library Reading Program. Even after returning to school to get her bachelor's and master's degrees, she has never stopped giving back to her community. Anytime there is a need for someone to volunteer, to give of her time and talent, Big D, as she is often called, is there. She is ready to help, and she also is part of Downey Rancho Los Amigos Amistad Committee. And this is an annual gala that raises funds for our nationally renowned Rancho Los Amigos Rehabilitation Hospital. And I am just honored to know her. She loves Downey. She bleeds Downey. And I could not think of a better individual to be recognized. Go Vikings, to be recognized as with the Downey Mayor's Legacy Award. Thank you. So, Dorothy, in recognition of your selfless dedication and always giving above and beyond for others, your heartfelt efforts and accomplishments have been of enormous value to our community and have helped to further the common goal of making our city a better place for all. Thank you, Dorothy, for leaving a legacy of service and generosity in our community. Giving this day, March 14th, 2023. Thank
No, just a few words. It's my parents never felt that they received any benefit from people helping them or volunteering. So when I would go out, my mom would just say, "Why are you doing that? What's the matter with you? Just stay home or go to work or do something." But you usually and should always, and I have, get back more than what you give. So when you give from the heart and you want to help or benefit others or your community, it's your reward. It's your paycheck. And I've always benefited, and I love being in Downey, so thank you.
Give it a round of applause. We have two more. I wanted to take a photo with all the women receiving the Legacy Award. Okay, sounds good. The next one is, again, and this is by no means any order of more or less. They are three amazing women that I value. And the next one is Carrie Uva. Would you please come up? Hello, Carrie. Carrie Uva was born and raised in Downey. She attended Our Lady of Perpetual Help and received her bachelor's from Loyola Marymount, also her Juris Doctor from Western State University School of Law. Carrie has worked in the city as an estate planning attorney and a real estate broker for over 25 years. If not more.
It's more, yeah, 29.
29. Carrie also gives back to her community by serving on numerous organizations, including, and again, I have to say, these women, when you say, "Can you help?" How? They immediately, it's not maybe, let me think about it, it's what do you need? And Carrie has been a member of the Downey CERT team for many years, also the Downey Association of Realtors, past president of the Downey Chamber of Commerce, and on the board, the Downey Lions Club, Downey Los Amigos Kiwanis Club, Downey Sister Cities, Measure S Oversight Committee. Also, she had been part of Public Works Committee, and she is my current planning commissioner. And I just want to say thank you, Carrie. Carrie understands her community's needs, and her years of community involvement drive her advocacy for Downey. She understands that leadership is about engaging with your community and setting a good example. Carrie's commitment to our city is evident and is very much deserving of this recognition. Congratulations, Carrie. Can you please give her a round of applause? And I will also read this. Carrie, in recognition of your selfless dedication and always going above and beyond for others, your heartfelt efforts and accomplishments have been of enormous value, Carrie, to our community, and have helped to further the common goal of making our city a better place for all. Thank you for leaving a legacy of service and generosity in our community. given this day, March 14th, 2023. And there's another pin, and go ahead and
Just a few words as well. I've lived in Downey for 58 years, and it's just the pride and joy of my life. I live and bleed Downey. You can ask my family. Everything is about Downey and what's going on in Downey and all the happenings and events. I've been really lucky to be appointed to different commissions. So I've got to learn a lot about our community by serving on these commissions, and I really enjoy working with the different members of the commissions and our city staff. We have amazing city staff, so we should all commend our city staff for doing what they do for all of us as residents. Very fortunate also to be appointed as a planning commissioner. Very interesting, it's very rewarding, getting to help business owners and residents achieve probably sometimes their lifelong goals of owning a business in Downey or doing some major work to their house. It's been very rewarding helping those residents and business owners achieve their dreams and their goals. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I am truly humbled by this. I don't like showing attention to myself, so this is very sweet of you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everything that the city does for me and for all of us. Thanks.
Our next woman recipient of the Mayor's Legacy Award is someone that is very special to this community as well. Lisette Rivera, would you please come up? I know Lisette also doesn't like the attention. Lisette Rodriguez Rivera is a mother of 4, and she has worked tirelessly to bring awareness to mental health, to improve special needs education, and social support for the children in our community. She has she has been a special needs advocate for the last 10 years and an ally of the LGBTQ+ community for 25 years. Lisette is also the founder of WOLF, War on Lethal Fentanyl, a group of parents and local activists who have joined to create a task force dedicated to fighting against fentanyl poisoning. This is a growing problem plaguing parents all across the nation. We have, according to Speaker McCarthy, I believe, 300 deaths a week. Right now, that is the statistic, 300 deaths a week across the country because of fentanyl poisoning. Lisette has also been a member of the Assistance League of Downey, the Downey Chamber of Commerce, the Beverly Hills LA Real Estate Association, Care for Downey, and she is also on her way to becoming a Rotary Club Downey member. Lisette creates an environment of inclusion and love wherever she goes. She is passionate about Downey. She is passionate about families. She is passionate about her children. And even though different things may call her, I know that her children come first. And I know that we have her children in the audience, and I just want to recognize them too. Thank you for joining us. And Lisette, as I said, she cares very deeply about this community being a community of character. And it is her mission to leave a positive impact, hoping to inspire others to do the same. And once again, a round of applause for Lisette. I will read this too. in recognition, Lisette Rivera, in recognition of your selfless dedication and always going above and beyond for others, your thoughtful and heartfelt efforts and accomplishments have been of enormous value to our community and have helped to further the common goal of making our city a better place for all. Thank you, Lisette, for leaving a legacy of service and generosity in our community. Of course.
Good evening, everyone. Having my children here is a blessing. And when I see the youth commissioners here in front of us, they're our future. And as a mother of four, what I think of is, what are we doing for our children today, right? What example are we setting? And I am a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a business owner, and I'm an advocate for special needs. But I'm also an advocate for the LGBT community, which I stand strong for. Diversity is in our city. We have to embrace it, and we also have to support it. And when it comes to fentanyl, we cannot ignore it. And as a mother and a founder of Wolf, I can tell you, I will be knocking at your door reminding you what this poison is causing and what is happening to our children. One pill does kill. It's a reality, and as Claudia stated, or Mayor Fermetta, 300 youth are dying per week. That's a huge impact in any community, let alone Downey. So when we created Wolf, we wanted to make a change. We wanted to make a difference. We wanted to be that link, that connection between Downey Police and our school district. What are we as parents doing to make a difference? How are we getting ourselves involved and reinforcing what our schools and what our city government is doing? So thank you so much for this honor. I feel blessed to be next to these two wonderful women. And thank you to all of you for being up there and making a difference.
Can we get the children up here for a photo with your mom? And your husband, I didn't see him, and your husband too. It's a family affair. Come and take a photo.
All right, thank you.
We can have just the women. Yes. Round of applause for these women. I will also like to welcome, I know that our Downey Youth Commissioners for 2022 and 2023, they already received their certificates of appointment in the fall of 2022. But because things had been a little bit topsy-turvy here, we had not made a point to recognize each and every one of you publicly in front of your families. And I would like to have the Youth Commission come up and join me here in the front. Maybe a few here and a few here. You know, civic involvement is crucial here to our community. And over the past many years, the City of Downey has had a youth commission comprised of high school students from our various high schools, individuals that are committed to helping and making a difference in their community. They work on projects and they suggest ideas that may be for consideration here during our council meetings, our council sessions. These young women and men are really an important component of our city. Their involvement, they give of their time and of their talent to serve every month. They are here to attend meetings. And in the spring, late spring, we usually have a student government day. And this is when seniors, juniors and seniors from our local high schools come, and they're also led by the Youth Commission. And we mirror what a city council does, the purpose of local government. And so their engagement is really important, and I want to recognize their efforts. I also want to recognize the parents that are here, because you are also contributing to raise men and women that are engaged, that are civically minded, and that understand the intricacies of local government, but also working together. We are never going to always agree, because we have different opinions on different things, but the Youth Commission and these commissioners, the point is to, again, model behaviors that are going to help them later on in life, and understand that even though we may not always agree, that we can agree to disagree respectfully. And with that said, again, I want to thank them. I hope that as we move forward this year, that the new batch of youth commissioners later this fall, we will be able to present them and acknowledge them earlier. And many of these young men and ladies may be graduating this year. And every year we have new commissioners. Every council member has the opportunity to appoint up to 2 youth commissioners to represent their district. And the application process, the applications are open later in the summer, the late spring, I should say, and then we as a council make our appointments and our decisions by reviewing those applications sometime in the summer. Without further ado, I would like to recognize Jimena Solorzano. Desiree Gonzalez. Isabella Guidel, Emily Itzul, Viviana Perez, Emily Gutierrez, Cassandra Diego, and Jordan Curiel. I will also like to present them with my challenge coin, the 2022-2023 Mayor Frometa's challenge coin, Leadership in Action. Remember that what you do and what you continue to contribute to our community will have a lasting impact in younger generations. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your commitment to serving your city. How about come in the front? We can come in the front so we can take a photo. Let's see.
Okay, you go there.
Here, and then maybe, there we go. Ready? Is everybody ready? Do you need us to squeeze in a little bit more? Big round of applause for these youth commissioners. Thank you, everybody. At this time, I would like to call veteran Brian Heyman to accept the proclamation for the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. National Vietnam War Veterans Day, we'll be remembering this on March 29th. And we could have waited another couple of weeks to present this, the day right before Vietnam War Veterans Day. But we wanted to acknowledge once again, coming out of the weekend of remembrance and celebration to our veterans, we wanted to do this earlier on. This proclamation, whereas the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017 was signed into law, designating every March 29th as National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And whereas this national commemoration was authorized by Congress, established under the Secretary of Defense, and launched by then President to thank and honor our nation's Vietnam veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice with distinct recognition of former prisoners of war and families of those still listed as missing in action. And whereas on March 29th, 1973 was the day the United States Military Assistance Command was de-established, and the day the last U.S. combat troops departed Vietnam, and Hanoi released the last of its acknowledged prisoners of war. And whereas the Department of Veterans Affairs estimates that today there are more than 7 million U.S. Vietnam veterans living in America and abroad, along with 10 million families of those who served during this time frame. And now, therefore, I, Claudia Frometta, Mayor of the City of Downey, on behalf of the Council and residents of Downey, do hereby designate March 29th of each year as National Vietnam War Veterans Day and pay tribute to wartime contributions made at home by American citizens, highlight technology, science, and medical advances made during the war, and recognize contributions by our allies. Brian, thank you for accepting this.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for asking me to receive this proclamation. It's said that a soldier dies twice in war, once when they're killed in battle and once when they're forgotten. Fortunately, here in Downey, those killed in battle are never forgotten. On November 11th, Veterans Day in 1968, a memorial sundial made of bronze was dedicated by the City of Downey. And arrayed around that sundial are the names of 23 of Downey's young men who were killed in Vietnam. In 1968, the population of Downey was about half of what it is right now. Downey was a really small town in the 1960s. And to just think, 23 high school boys aged died in Vietnam. Everybody in the city of Downey back then knew somebody who was killed in Vietnam. It's a beautiful sundial. It's located right outside the city chambers here in front of the flagpoles. And I was taken aback the first time I had seen it. It was actually kind of hidden away in the community theater courtyard. And then once the courtyard was rebuilt, the community theater, the memorial sundial and its dedication plaques were stored for almost 2 years at Public Works before they were finally relocated to their present location in front of the flagpoles. And if you ever get a chance, just stop by there and take a look at that sundial. And I'll try to make this as brief as I can, but I think we owe it to these 23 young men to never forget their names who died in battle. So I'm going to recite their names. Juan Gary Garcia, Daniel E. Eckenrode, Charles W. Kuntz Jr., Robert A. Thompson, Johnny L. Edwards, Michael N. Anderson, Danny E. Ward, Ronald H. Chilcott, Pablo Duran, James C. Houghton, Donald M. Munden, Charles Laurer, Neil E. Harvey, Stephen P. Barnett, James D. Valov, John E. Lortz III, Wayne C. Harmon, Michael Cherhoff, Durand G. Liggett, John L. Messer, Stephen C. Patterson, Clifford L. Whipple, and Robert R. Bohr. Let us never forget the 23 young Downey men who were killed on the battlefield in Vietnam. And this proclamation is for them. Thank you. Okay, sure.
I would like to also present a couple of certificates of appreciation, and I would like former Mayor Rick Rodriguez to join me up here, please. These two young ladies are being recognized for their commitment to government policy. And I want to recognize your tenacity and strong work ethic is evident of your unlimited potential. Viridiana Gutierrez and Lorena Diaz, would you please come up?
So those two young ladies are coming up now. Just so you know, they work with the Department of Family and Children's Services and their current students at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Eventually go into private practice, so that's what they want to do. But right now they're serving. They're serving our communities. They're serving our children. I speak occasionally at Cal State Dominguez Hills on their public policy classes. And so the professor asked me if they could come and witness government at work. And meet the mayor. This is our mayor, Claudia Frometa, and our city council. And this is how it works. This how we have our police chief, fire chief, and all of our department heads here up front. And then we have people in the audience that come from all around, not only our city, all around they come here. And as you can tell, it's freedom of speech and expression. But this is how it works. And I wanted you, ladies and gentlemen, to see these young girls that, you know, it's especially even this month. I want you to see these young ladies, how they're working so hard. They're working so hard. And you guys you're on scholarship, right? You're interns? Yeah, so they're on scholarship right now, and they're working. They're seniors. Are you guys seniors yet? Yep, they're seniors. So I mean, hey, anybody knows going to school and going to work, and that's very, very difficult. So we wanted to ask the mayor if we can recognize these young ladies. So I'll let you go do your thing.
Thank you, Mayor Rodriguez. This certificate is for Lorena Diaz on behalf of the citizens of Downey. This is a certificate of appreciation in recognition of your commitment to government policy. Your tenacity and strong work ethic is evidence of your unlimited potential. Congratulations and continue to do good work. Also, Viridiana Gutierrez, on behalf of the citizens of Downey, in recognition of your commitment to government policy, your tenacity and strong work ethic is evidence of your unlimited potential. Given this day, 14th of March, 2023. Thank you so much. So colleagues, we're getting a workout tonight.
Maura, you can hide in the back.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude our long list of recognitions. Thank you. Please continue to stay. We have some business to take care of. It is always a pleasure to have our council chambers filled with youth, with families. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now, at this time, I will take public comment on agenda, consent calendar, and non-agenda items. If you didn't receive a number card and wish to speak, please proceed to the back of the room to be issued a number card by city staff. Before we begin the public comment period, I would like to remind members of the audience that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Copies of the meeting rules are located in the back of the chambers. Speakers who violate these rules and cause a disruption will receive one warning, and then they may be removed from the meeting. Violations of the rules of decorum for council meetings may also result in an administrative fine under the municipal code or citation for a misdemeanor under Penal Code Section 403. I want to remind our audience that the City Council acknowledges the right of the public to address issues that are within the city's jurisdiction, and we invite the public to do so during the City Council meeting. However, this right must be balanced with the need of the council to conduct the public business in a fair and efficient manner, free from disruptions or disturbances. We expect that everyone who participates in tonight's meeting, from the members of the council here on the dais to staff to the members of the public in attendance, do so with respect and dignity. This is a business meeting. Please refrain from using profanity, name-calling, or behaving in a way that disrupts this meeting. There are members of the audience that expect the rules of decorum to be followed. There are members, families, and children here tonight. Yelling, whistling, booing, screaming, and any other outburst that disrupts or disturbs the meeting, any conduct that interferes with or disrupts persons who are addressing the City Council, any conduct that interferes with or disrupts council members while they are speaking, and any other conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes or offends the audience members. I remind speakers that your comments must be addressed to me directly and not to any other council member, city staff, or the audience. City Clerk, did we receive any written public comment to be incorporated into the record?
We did not, Mayor.
If no public written comment has been received, I will now open it up for members of the audience. And based on the number of speakers, you will have 2 minutes to address the council. All speakers must remain seated until your number is called, and I may remind you once again that the rules of decorum apply. It is a business meeting, and there are families and residents present. One warning will only be given. Speaker number 1, please come forward.
So on the record, great things are coming, and you heard it. What's coming is they're taking away your time as public speakers. That's called coercion, terrorism, and tyranny, because they don't want to hear your opinion. They feel that they're better than you because you elected them, and all they want to do on item number 14 and 15 is tax you, the taxpayers, so that you and your children and your families can someday quickly move out of Downey and live on the streets with the rest of the veterans that sleep daily on the street. And that's a fact. Now, item number 6, the mommy tyrant up there in her leprechaun suit talked about the Dan Herlock fire chief apparatus. Well, think about it. Do you really need more fire engines when we have problems with housing, affordable housing, condominiums that cost your children and grandchildren, and these 2 young ladies all work their ass off the rest of their life to live at home and pay the rent, because that's called Roger Bradley Day. And if you really think about it, the woman impact on this issue is censorship and how it impacts what you can and cannot say in Downey, but I'll politely put it on the record, 42 U.S.C. 1983, fuck you. Because again, Brandenburg versus Ohio, U.S. 395, 44, 1969 says, I'm a dirty nigger. And that's on the record. In addition to that, I talk about Cohen versus California politely. Fuck the draft. Save America. Your patrons are dying on the street. There's no better way to say it. But if you want to fight a political war, speak up. If you want to watch the things going on in your community and be blind to the transition from the rich to the poor, get him back at me, because we're all going to eventually be on that line of poorness.
Thank you for that.
Yes, when I turn in my public comment card, so you don't say I use bad language, Mom. Is this it, Mayor? To you, Mr. Worker, for the record? Oh. What was that? There's one. That's my public comment.
Thank you. We need to move on now.
Versus Ohio.
Speaker number 2 may come up.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Hello. Could
Good
you turn
evening.
this up a bit, please? Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, clock's ticking.
En français, mademoiselle, merci beaucoup. I'm known as Mo, my first name. I'm a Spanish, Austrian Jew, Marine Corps veteran. Brian, you're fucking awesome. I will use no more profanity. I will stay out of the vernacular, if you will. You know, I was privileged, ma'am, to attend that Discovery Park and the Iowa chip, which I gave to a little girl downstairs because her father's struggling. And I says to her, young lady, what do you want to be when you grow up? She said, a police officer. I was born September 26, 1961 on a dirt road in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Grew up in an adobe house to my grandfather, Moses Ortiz, my grandmother, not TV, the other Ortiz. You know, when he retired, my grandfather, on my mom's side, he was coming to see my mom, Lori, was the second born daughter. All the men were in the military, my grandfather's children. And so why am I here? Well, so you get to know me. My objective is to be on the CERT team, Stone, human trafficking, volunteer to drive your Bearcat so I can sit in there and pray while we locate, close with, and secure the scenario from all the crazies, if you will. I'm here to be of service to my city, the city in which I dwell. Feel free to call upon me at any moment. But my objective is to pray for this fantastic, beautiful city. My grandfather, he adopted me, Harry Mansdorf Family Trust. I was his personal assistant, would take him to and fro. This P-24 Liberator pilot shot down twice, traded for him and another guy for 100+ Germans trying to hurry. This is a great and fantastic city.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you.
Join up and do something. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mo. Appreciate it. Speaker number 3 may come up.
Hello, good evening, Mayor
evening.
and Council. My name is Lance Bradford. I am the lead animal care technician at Siaka Animal Control. I'm here representing the whole Siaka team, from the front office workers to the animal care technicians and the animal control officers out in the field. The City of Downey has a representative on Siaka's commission. Workers at Siaka haven't had a cost of living raise since 2019. The workers don't have full employer health coverage. The agency's current proposal to us doesn't solve the problem faced by the employees with family members who can't afford to pay the health insurance, in which many positions are starting at the minimum wage of $15.50. Wage comparison between Siaka and other animal control agencies are between 36 and 46% under. Keep in mind, the management team enjoys a fully paid medical coverage for them and their family members. Please understand also, we are 40% understaffed at the shelter. So when the public calls for that aggressive dog or that injured animal that needs immediate care, please understand it will take time. Also, the vaccine clinic at the shelter has lines up to 6 hours at times when we are open to the public. There's even times where some public are turned away as to come back another day. Unfortunately, we're not collecting that revenue in vaccine money, as well as licensing money. Morale is terrible. The bargaining team members in the unit are looking for work elsewhere. The understaffed agency could see an exodus of talented animal professionals to agencies that pay better and offer better health care. Again, the agency has a 40% vacancy rate in our bargaining unit. Siaka needs more financial resources if it is to survive. Downey is one of 6 contract agencies to provide fixed funding for Siaka and needs to be substantially increased on its commitment to that funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 4, or speaker number, yes.
Madam Mayor and Council, I wasn't going to speak. I'm number 4, and I put my card up here earlier. But since I heard this young man speak about Siaka, and I was on that Siaka board when I was mayor, and all 4 years I was on the Siaka board, and it's a joint power authority with several other cities. And to this young man's point, they really work really hard. And I think that the city of Downey is just one part of the solution, but maybe you guys can reach out to our other cities and help these young people with their benefits and increase. We don't know, we never got involved with that kind of stuff. Our concern was never to get involved with their wages and so forth. We was just driving forward and keeping them in business. But I think the secret to the answer here is not only Downey, because even though it's housed in Downey, it still takes care of Paramount and Norwalk and South El Monte and Pico Rivera, other cities. So I think that's really where the answer is, Madam Mayor. So maybe somebody can reach out to the other cities and say, let's have that discussion, because they really do a lot of work that we need them for. So anyways, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Speaker number 5, Mr. Ojeda.
Good evening, Council. So we come before you once again for the Cecilia Street curve. We appreciate all the work that you guys have put in thus far to get us this far. We're asking, we thought about it as we talked about the fire trucks not being able to turn around in the curve. Mark came out, Mr. Scott, I apologize, he came out and saw it and proposed maybe a turnabout. I guess he spoke to the fire department and said that wouldn't be a possibility. So my wife had a brilliant idea, and she said, with the medians that we have down Lakewood Boulevard, how they're sloped off and have cobblestone, and possible a gate that's remote controlled, that you can block off that street and give Cecilia Street an actual dead end the way we proposed or asked for you guys to address, so that we can slow down the traffic that comes around that corner. So we're still diligently waiting for some kind of compromise. Mr. Trillo will be emailing you come over and sit down and visit with us. And I invite the whole council that wants to come and within the next week or two to come and sit on the front yard and kick it around and see how we can fix this for the residents of Downey. And we thank you guys. Thank you so much. Anything? You're good today?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ojeda. Okay, speaker number 6.
Good evening. Wanting to see how local government works. Well, we are here. We have seen our time limited. We are being obviously browed down upon by a petty tyrant of a mayor who wants to limit that time. We don't have any public hearings tonight. This is where you get public input. And number 15 is a classic example of what a public hearing should be about and the residents should participate in. And number 15 is talking about an opposition to a measure that's going to be put on the ballot in 2024 called the Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act. Now, why would the taxpayers need protection from the local city council? Because the local city council wants to find it easier and find easier ways to tax you without your input. They don't want you to have any input whatsoever. They don't want to impede any of their local taxing authority. That's why they oppose any such measures. They're going to oppose this tonight. Now, I'm here to tell you, not one clear-thinking, sober-minded, common-sense conservative would ever vote to impose more taxes on its residents or citizens. They work for us. They view it differently, okay? They want to have the authority over you, and they don't want you to have any input. So that's where your taxpayer protection is, and government accountability. This act will provide new, stricter rules for state and local officials to tax you. Support this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 7 may come up.
Madam Mayor, City Council members, Mr. Bradley and staff, good evening.
Good evening.
Two items. First of all, I want to welcome Mr. Bradley to the council, wish him well with working with the personalities and the wishes of all the council people. The second item has to do with state housing. As you well know, the state of California has issued mandates to different cities, imposed upon them the number of extra housing developments they need to prescribe to. To my knowledge, the city of Downey has given the proper information to the state, and the state has approved the certificate of housing for the city of Downey. So I compliment you on that. One of the side issues and more important issues, as far as I'm concerned, is that with the issuance of the approval by the state, it has prevented developers using the so-called builder's remedy from building anything they want to in the city of Downey. By definition, the builder's remedy is an allowance by the state. It gives developers that want to build large amounts of units with low-income housing the freedom to do such and avoid city council restrictions. That is totally ridiculous. The only way the developer can do that is that if they apply for the development prior to the prior to the issuance of the approval by the state of California, they can come in, they meaning developers, can come in and build basically almost whatever they want to. That is totally ridiculous, and that ends my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Lacy. Speaker number 8 may come up, please. Hello, Mr. Squire.
Good evening. Just a quick question, no comments. I came late. Was there a status report on the police officer who was in that collision and he's now in the hospital? No. She's just curious.
It's not on the agenda.
I realize that, but any one of you council members or police officer or chief could tell us what the status is. Not violate HIPAA.
Equal access.
Lee
That's
Squire.
discrimination, Mayor.
Lee Squire, Vietnam veteran, U.S. Army, Downey High, class of 1967. Mayor, City Council, parents and children, and the Gold Star parents of the 23 men of Downey who were killed in Vietnam. March the 29th, 2023 is National Vietnam War Veterans Day. I have a rose for each council member to place on the sundial at our Downey Vietnam Memorial. I attended Downey High School board meeting tonight, and they honored National Vietnam War Veterans Day and had each board member who took turns reading all of the 23 names. I was very honored. Each was given a rose for placement on the sundial. We Vietnam veterans of Downey requested the school board members participate in veterans events, including Vietnam Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day as equal partners, since they both are also elected officials of the city, and they talk for the parents and the children. Also, to parents of Downey, you are not domestic terrorists for exercising freedom of speech at school board meetings. So it says the Vietnam veterans, and we are also the children of World War II. God bless America. God bless the nation of Israel. God bless my military and my veterans. God bless my local policing across America. We of the Vietnam War veterans, I'm proudly to say that thanks to the Biden administration, calling parents domestic terrorists was the greatest gift you ever gave us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Squire. Thank you for the roses. Speaker number 9 may come up.
This is in regards to a property at 11269 Garfield Avenue. It's the location of the old American Legion Hall. I have asked many times, going clear back to the days of Rick Rodriguez, that this property be maintained. It's about a 3-acre parcel, but for some reason, the Downey Council or whoever has only chosen to maintain half of the property. And unfortunately, it's the half of the property that is away from the residents of Hollydale. I don't think any of you would go out and mow half your lawn. Or you wouldn't be very happy if your neighbors mowed half of their lawn and left the rest to grow chest high. I did email Mayor Frometta about this. Someone did come out and weed eat just around the sidewalk on Gardendale. That was it. Recently, a few days ago, I saw some workers out maintaining the lot. I went down and talked to them, and they said that their contract is for half of that lot. It doesn't make sense. I don't know if you're saving money. I don't know if the county is supposed to pick up the other half, but I find it very disrespectful that what is closest to the residents of Hollydale is left to grow wild. There are places where the weeds are as high as my chest. And it just doesn't make sense. And I've been told by residents here that I have no right to say anything about what goes on in Downey because I no longer live in Downey, that it's none of my business. And it's not true. Our cities, or part of our neighborhood's children, fill the butts in your Downey Unified School District. So that, I believe, gives us the right to be able to say what goes on.
Thank you. Can we have somebody talk to? We will follow up with that.
We'll take care of it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one last speaker. Speaker number 10 may come up. Hello, Mr. Rowland.
Hello. So we got the road barrier placed over a month ago. We've been here since, I think, August, asking for the wall. Nothing. I was told by Mr. Scott almost 4 weeks ago, we were going to get the fence. Still no fence. So I want to ask you guys, if you come home from football practice with your 12-year-old and pull up in front of your house at 7:58 on a Wednesday and see that, what would you do? It's getting worse. The police don't show up anymore. Code enforcement doesn't come. Parking enforcement doesn't come. We have to call. Do you want to see somebody peeing in front of your house? We want the fence. I know it's been raining. I get it. Everything gets pushed back. We've been here since August asking. What else do we need to do?
I think that is, and I'm not going to comment on this, but I know we are looking at getting that. There's been weather issues. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it.
I get that. No worries. But at least somebody could speak out. Mr. Bradley, you and I are going to become well known to each other because this is ridiculous. If you had kids and somebody's peeing out in front of your house at 7:58 on a Wednesday night, right in front of your house, come on. People parking in front of the barrier wherever they want, however they want. We call code enforcement. By the time they get there or police get there, everybody's gone. They double park, they triple park, they do whatever they want. The taco shop has not been fined nothing. He gets 3 or 4 deliveries a day. They pull in the alley, they block the alley. Nobody does a thing. People still parking in front of our houses. People still walking by. People still eating in front of our houses. I don't know what else we have to do. I'm just asking for the wall or the fence, something. I don't know, Mr. Bradley, if he has an update from Mr. Scott. I don't know, but we need something done. We've been here since August, and we're going to keep coming until something gets done.
I think work is underway. And again, we're not going to engage in a dialogue. This is not usually what we do, but I'll let City Manager Bradley.
Getting up to speed. We'll follow up, Mayor, and find
Thank
out
you.
more about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland. Speaker number 11 may come up.
Hello. Hi, I'm here for the same issue. I just wanted to address it again. I really don't want to be up here. It's very uncomfortable for me, but it's been going on so much. It's gotten worse. I seen it worse than the video he's seen. I actually seen 2 people pull out their thing and I witnessed both of them. It's getting very uncomfortable. I really don't want to be up here. Every time I come, I try not to speak, but it's getting to the point where it's like, you know, I have to start saying something because it's really bothering me internally. So I'm just hoping that, you know, we're looking into it and things, seems like it keeps getting postponed. Hey, it's going to be done in 2 weeks. Hey, it's going to be done in 2 weeks. It's starting to get irritating where it's like, okay, 2 more weeks. It's been 2 weeks and 3 days, 2 weeks and 4 days. No one's contacting us. I would feel more comfortable if we're getting contacted like, hey, this is going on, but we're not being updated. So, you know, we just want to be updated and know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Speaker number 12 may come up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jose. I'm a little nervous. My second time speaking up here in the city council. I bring the same issue brought me first time. I'm a Downey resident. I love the city. I'm a hard worker. I'm a family man. I'm being affected by a new ordinance came up this year about not be able to park on my adjacent street. I live on Bellflower Boulevard. I'm affected dramatically with this ordinance. I'm okay with all the codes in the city. I'm willing to comply. But when that pushes me to a point that I got to park on my lawn, I got to park a few blocks from my house because, I mean, I got a big family. I got a son ready to go to college. I got to buy my car. I got to be able to park either on the front of my house or my adjacent street. I see around my adjacent street, there's plenty of space. I mean, I don't see why was the reason that it came up to that ordinance. We respect everybody's driveway, because I mean that's how I was brought up with this moral standards. Respect people's property, don't bother your neighbor. All this stuff. I love the city. My wife, she always wanted to live in the city. We managed to buy a house here. And when these things push you to a point that it bothers you at night, you're thinking about where should you park. There's gonna be a ticket lady coming up around the corner. All this stuff that is not necessary if you guys want to have a healthy city with healthy families. I mean, once again, I'm happy to come, but the next time I'll be able to bring something different with a much better perspective when it comes to all these things that affects the city, the people in Downey, especially those hard workers, because we love the city and we want to keep it, like all these people say, we want to keep it safe. We don't want people around the corner doing all these things that it embarrasses us seeing this in Downey. And this is a city model for so many cities around this place. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you for that.
I just want to inquire of the speaker, if I understand this correctly, you live on Bellflower between Stewart and Gray and Cleta, is that correct? And we permitted some streets and you were left out, right? Okay. Okay.
We can put it on a future agenda if that's the council's will. Bring it back.
Thank you for that. Seeing no additional speakers, I will entertain a motion in a second to close public comment.
So move.
Second. So ordered by the mayor. Now is the time for consent calendar items. Are there any council members that would like to remove or abstain from an item?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I will not be able to participate and must abstain from items number 2 and items number 3, as I own real property near both of these locations.
So number 2 and
3.
3. Okay, anyone else?
I have an abstention against number 15. I have not reached a conclusion yet. Number 15, I have not reached a conclusion yet. I have contacted the organization, and I have not reached a decision which way I wish to go, so I wish to abstain on number 15.
Okay. I will now entertain a motion in a second to approve the consent calendar with Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo abstaining from number 2 and 3 and Councilmember Horn abstaining from number 15.
Madam Mayor, with respect to Councilman Horn abstaining from 15, I think, is it possible we pull this until the next, just kick it down to the next council meeting and get more clarification on it? Because the opposition to the ballot, this measure, which is backed by a bunch of wealthy corporations, I understand there's some confusion. And I'm asking, is it possible to pull it till the next council meeting so that maybe Mr. Tim Horn can get more clarification and maybe make some more sense out of it? Is that possible?
Yes, it is.
Second.
We will have staff bring it back for the March 28th council meeting. So once again, item number 15 will be brought back for the next council meeting, and Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo abstaining from number 2, and number 3. Can I have a motion, please?
Second, or I'll make a motion.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Second.
Please vote.
The consent calendar is approved with Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo abstaining from items number 2 and 3, and item number 15 being pulled and brought back to the March 28th, 2023 council meeting.
Okay, we have, there is one administrative report this evening, and that is item number 20 on our agenda. That is the presentation and discussion regarding parking in the city. The item was requested by Councilmember Horn, and Councilmember Horn, you may proceed with your presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to set the ground rules on this. We will not be discussing it. It's just a presentation of the parking issues that I have seen over the past 5 years in Downey, particularly to the residents. There are additional issues for the business that will be addressed at a later time. But I just wanted to bring attention to everyone because we need to find some type of solution before we all get charged, as other cities are doing, to pay to park in front of our neighborhoods or be restricted from parking in front of our neighborhoods. So we need to find some type of medium between the residents and the council and what specifically the law says. So I need to give our acting city attorney time to research the legal issues and how we can move forward. So with that said, I will detail the parking issues that I have seen over the last 5 years in Downey. The first one is how we use our garages. We're using them as storages, workshops, storage of vintage vehicles, non-operation vehicles, extra rooms, a game room, a gym, a business, a podcast, something other than what it was intended to be used for. What is parked on our driveways? If you have a boat, an RV, a camper, a storage container, this blocks the access to using the garage. So therefore, vehicles are parked on the street, blocking other neighbors, maybe even other neighborhoods. We have to take that into consideration. The third issue is how many families live in a single-family home? There's multiple parking spots in front of many homes that are being used because there's more than one family living in a home. Maybe you have 6 children, have vehicles, so you're taking your neighbor's parking spot. Work vehicles, I especially had a problem back in 2002. My neighbor was renting a home. 3 families lived in it. 10 spots were used on the street. They were mad that I never moved my vehicle in a 72-hour period, and I always had to replace my vehicle in order to protect in front of my neighborhood, so I would have a parking spot. Also, the large family issue, as I have covered, home-based businesses. Now that you're working at home, maybe your clientele are parking in the neighborhood, maybe your employees, if you're working with employees in your business. So that adds to the parking issues in the neighborhood. The fourth issue is how long or wide is my driveway? Is my garage being used as a setback behind my house or in front of my house because I'm unable to use my driveway or it's not long enough for all the vehicles that I use in my neighborhood? Are there more than one home or apartment on the property, condominium, townhome, or other properties, thus limiting the parking ability to use on a driveway or even in the street? The other issue is operating the business or on your property. As I mentioned before, the clients parking in the neighborhood, using the neighborhood as a parking lot. Some homes don't even have places they can park in front of the house. They don't have a garage. They don't even have an alley. So they're forced to park in front of their neighbors if they have a vehicle. So we have to take that into consideration. Do you have a garage that's behind your house where it can be blocked? You can't even use your garage because it's being blocked by somebody else parking behind your garage. That has to be taken into consideration about what we can do. The fifth issue would be, is there an apartment, a townhome, a condominium nearby where somebody other than the residents of the street are continuously parking in your neighborhood? This is a major factor in the 6 out of the 7 preferential parking areas that Downey has granted over the past 6 years. Other issues is the planning issue. Did you plan? How did they plan for the apartments, the condominiums? How many spaces did they reserve at the planning stage? The tenants flow into your neighborhood because there's not enough delegated parking spots. Some residents are even charged an extra fee or required to purchase a parking permit to park on the property, whether it's a condo, apartment, or townhomes usually don't have a problem because they have a garage, but sometimes it does flow over. And there again, you got a problem going into the residential neighborhood, parking in someone's neighborhood. Are your neighbors from other streets using your neighborhood as an extra parking lot for their vehicles? They have too many vehicles, so they use your street to park their extra vehicles. The third issue, are you using your front or backyards to park your vehicles, whether it's legal or not?
Sunbathing.
These have to be taken into consideration. There are a number of situations that come up in the planning committee where they've asked to pave their front lawn because there's not enough parking, or they have to park on the side of their garage, on the fence line, because they need additional parking spots. And we have to take that into consideration, what we need to do there. The last issues that I've seen is the size of the vehicles have changed over time. Is your garage or driveway too small to park your vehicles? Some homes built back in the 1950s and 60s, consistent with the vehicles that we have now, I can't even park my vehicle in a 1960 garage. It's too big. Is your vehicle too large to park in front of your house, of your residence, where it interferes with your neighbor, thus causing blockage and public safety issues, because blocking their driveway as well? So we have to consider that. And with that, I would like to ask the mayor to forward this on to another agenda for a deeper discussion, and the city, acting city attorney to look into the legal issues about what we have brought up, whether to use how we can use our garages, and whether it's legal to look into issues about reinstating the use of the garage as a garage rather than an extra bedroom, a game room. I know there are state issues and local issues as well.
Is that all, Councilmember Horn? I was just conferring with our Madam City
Okay.
Attorney. Those are your wishes to bring
Yeah.
it back
We
for
need to
further
bring it back
discussion?
because we cannot find a conclusion at this time. It's a major issue. It's going to affect us down the line. Other cities have already started charging permits for people to park in front of their house, restricting parking. One city does not allow you to park in the South Bay. You cannot park in front of your house from 6 to 6. And we don't need to get to that point of restriction. There are solutions, and I'm confident that we don't have to go that far at this stage. So I wish to further the discussion at a later event.
Councilmember Horn, and again, knowing that we're not going to discuss this matter, but I just as a point of clarification and for the record, I do want to say, as a council and as a city, we don't have the legal means to dictate how people can use their garages.
Right.
That is
No, that's-
really, private property.
That-
And again, we as a council, that is really not our job. However, given the other issues that you have brought up in terms of doing a deeper dive in studying how we are addressing parking in areas of need, such as something that a speaker brought up. There are special parking permits that some neighborhoods are moving towards that then in areas that are no parking, such as, Bellflower Boulevard, then that really displaces many residents from parking right outside their homes. And now, because of the special permit, they cannot park in streets adjacent or in the back of it. So I think we definitely can look into a little bit more research. But again, for a point of record and clarification, we cannot dictate how people use or don't use their private property in their garages, given state legislature and it just given the ADU approvals issue. So I think that we need to stay away from that.
No, I understand that. I've researched the law and I know where everything's going, but the public has to realize that if you're going to use your garage and then you're going to be complaining to the city council and the city, I cannot park in my neighborhood. Everybody has to understand that you've decided to use something that was planned originally for your car. You've decided to opt out of using it as a garage for your vehicle, and you must the city. Everybody has to understand that because you're forcing yourself onto the street. Some are parking on the lawns because there's not enough. Preferential parking pushes you to another neighborhood if you can't park there. There are other issues, and I had to go through it in 2017, where we had to force a condominium unit to actually issue parking permits to the residents of another city so that they would not park in my neighborhood. And that was one of the ways that we solved our situation. But we need to look into this in more depth, work on issues, how we can solve it. Right now, I know of 15 cities where you have to pay to park in front of your house. Others have signs of 4 hours of parking. And before we get to that stage, not everybody can qualify for preferential parking. There's a study that has to be done and has to be met before you get to that stage. Before it becomes a big issue for the city, we have to see if we can resolve any issues now before it explodes. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Councilmember Horn. I will need a second to bring this back as an agenda item for discussion. City Manager Bradley, do you have additional comments?
Well, I was going to say that, it'd be nice to have a motion if the council is interested in pursuing this. There's quite a bit of workload that's been indicated there. I'm not sure the city attorney's office would have be able to bring it back soon. Might take some time to get through all of that, to get all that together. I want to get some direction from council. This also might be something you might want to look at as part of maybe a future priority session if you're interested in one way, and putting that in context of all the other things that we're doing. So just want to make sure we have some good direction from council how you want to proceed.
Additional council members, do you have?
I'm thinking this might be appropriate for some sort of study session or a committee perhaps. It seems like such an important issue. I'm just afraid that it may not be the best use of our time from the dais, but we should be working on this. I'm wondering if
To create an ad hoc committee to study this?
Those are my thoughts. I'm curious to see what my colleagues think.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo brings up a great point. I think maybe an ad hoc committee, if feasible.
I think it would be good to bring it back on a future agenda item. I know our interim city attorney has indicated the staff can come up with some ideas on how to tackle this and move forward. But let's bring it back as an item with staff's recommendation as to how to go about tackling this issue. Parking is by far one of the areas that are of great concern in many neighborhoods throughout our city. Certainly, we've heard quite a bit from apartment dwellers in, again, the inability to park in their areas. And again, this, as Councilmember Horn, you've indicated, this is an issue that affects everybody. And so I think it's such a large, you've mentioned a lot of different components to this. We want to be able to be efficient and really purposeful in terms of what it is we're trying to accomplish. Mayor Pro Tem Trujillo.
And if I may, Madam Mayor, going back to our resident on Bellflower, one of the things that we wanted to work on was creating a parking zone that would include Bellflower, or at least give him the ability to get a permit. And so that's why I'm thinking maybe the ad hoc committee might be the appropriate place to come up with and study the idea of a parking zone in an area where we already have 3 streets have preferred parking permits. Why not be able to include the gentleman and all his neighbors on that street? And it seems like that would be the work of, appropriate work for a committee or a study group, if I may.
Then I will go ahead and propose the creation of an ad hoc committee. And I know that Councilmember Horn, you will want to be in that committee. If another council colleague would like to be a part of that, we can move in that direction. Oh, okay. I'm being a.
I have my suggestion. I think that now that staff has a better idea of what the issues are, and we have some time to digest the issues that you've raised, council member, what we could do is at the next meeting, if possible, if not at the one after that, we can come up with perhaps some answers to your questions, and then also come up with some additional ideas based on what you've talked about, possibly an ad hoc or a study session to deal with whatever it requires a bit more research and time. So I think that would be my suggestion, is that if it's the council's pleasure, this could be moved to the next meeting or to the meeting after that, where staff will come up with a bit of a report that answers those questions and provide some additional alternatives to continue that research.
We also need to involve the public because it's going to affect the actual residents. So we have to somewhere have their feedback.
Of course.
It may not be for 3 or 5 minutes. If we had to have a full-out discussion meeting, then as an ad hoc committee, we might have to do that. So.
Then I will ask staff with council colleagues' agreement to bring back this item in the April meeting agenda. Hopefully we have some time to get those ideas. Okay? If
And that way the public knows too, because they will be part of the solution. And it's not going to be a last minute issue where in a year from now, everybody says, I can't park on my street. What are you going to do about it? We can't take the full load. The public's going to have to help us.
Sure. Thank you for bringing this issue up, and it is a complex issue, and we will move forward in discussing what way we need to,
And there are
how
solutions.
we need to address it.
I've gone further in the study. There are solutions, but we have to have everybody to be on board. Both the public and the council and the administration has to be on board to resolve the problem before it gets out of hand. Thank you.
So we're good with how to proceed. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Horn. I will now, well, we've made the motion to bring it back, and we had a second, right? Please vote.
The motion is approved unanimously.
Okay, thank you. At this time, the city council meeting is now adjourned at 8:31 in memory of the lives lost due to COVID. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.